been working in technology space all my life. And I think people are more scared than they always were. Today, every day we hear news about the job cuts in IT industry. And there have been numerous reports that say how robots and automation are going to take away our jobs. They say 40 to 50% of the jobs will go away in 2030. These are reports by Stanford, these are reports by Oxford and different committees. And I think I have an optimistic prism to it. I feel that jobs will not go away. They will simply evolve. And this has been happening for ages. So we used to use typewriters about 2 decades ago, and we stopped using them anymore. We switched to laptops. We switched to tablets. The same thing happened to people who used to repair those bulky CRT-based monitors. They switched from those CRT monitors to flat screens. And I think very soon, thanks to Samsung over here, perhaps in few months down the line, they'll be working on foldable screens. So I think jobs are just taking changes. And the same thing has happened the other way around as well. Today, we have different jobs available which never existed 5 years ago, or perhaps 10 years ago. We never heard of the job of a cryptocurrency trader. We never heard about the position of an IoT architect. But these jobs exist today. So I think more and more automation is going to give us more opportunity in the future. But what we need to understand is the change in technology requires a different skill set. It requires a skill set to adapt that change. And I think this is where our education system is failing us today. This is how the classrooms look 50 years ago. And unfortunately, this is how our education system looks like the same. There hasn't been any change. The students are pushed into a crazy rat race out there. Every parent wants their kid to compete into IIT JEE, compete for those 10,000 seats, and over 1 million students take that exam every year. A lot of them succumb to the pressure. They are not able to get that kind of quality education. But does that mean they do not deserve access to high quality education? And today, I feel extremely proud to be working with edX, a Harvard-MIT joint venture which is committed to the mission of providing high quality education access to everybody on this planet. We have opened doors of 130 plus top universities of the world, like Oxford, Berkeley, Columbia, Harvard. In India, we have IIT Bombay, IIM Bangalore. You just go online, take any course of your choice, and start learning, absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything to anyone for that. And just like other industries, the disruption is happening in online education space. If I'm a BTech, I don't have to follow the trend of doing an MBA, which is more of a fashion statement that we have in India. Do your MBA right after doing your BTech. Why do I need to do that? If I want to make a career in blockchain, if I want to make a career in cybersecurity, I don't have to spend 2 years on campus and get another degree. By the time I will graduate with my second degree, the skills would have gone to another level. So instead, what I can do now is I can take a micro-masters, which is a part of a master's degree that you can do absolutely online in 6 months. And this equals to credit worth 25% to 50% of a master's degree, which means you will be able to create your own master's degree. And the benefit of working in this technology domain is to increase learning effectiveness, to increase learning outcome. What we have done is we have merged neuroscience of learning with big data. We have about 13 million learners across the world. And we have really literally gone into their minds. We have put EEG machines on them and see how they react to learning. What we found out is that if I make you watch a lecture which is more than 10 minutes in duration, your attention span will go away. And this is what's happening in our education system today. Teacher comes, they deliver their lecture for 2 hours. They want to explain 100%. Students are able to understand 50%, and they only retain about 20%. However, with education technology, this is changing. What we learned is the average size of an online lecture should not exceed more than 7 minutes. Right after that 7-minute video lecture, you should engage the student into a discussion, into an assessment, so they are able to apply the learning into practice, and they're able to retain that concept. It also helps professors to increase their knowledge as well, to learn how their students are reacting to their content. So you can see, in a typical classroom, I don't really know what a backbencher is doing. The concept that I'm trying to explain, whether a student is able to understand that or not. But with online technology, they are able to do that. They can see the detailed analytics on how the learners are responding to their lectures. If I see a lot of replays in a particular area, that's a red mark for a professor. They know that something is not right there. So I can always go back, adapt my pedagogy. If I'm trying to do a text-based learning, I can flip the same concept through a video case study and then see if that increases the learning outcome. And what we found that this interpolated testing increases learning by at least 27%. And today, when we talk about online education, the increasing constraint becomes learning integrity. When we talk about online education, it's not that you have to go online and buy your credentials, you have to earn it. And hence, colleges are using online proctoring techniques through which students can sit in front of webcam, give their exams, and they don't have to cheat. The system will have a webcam that will monitor them throughout their exam. If a student is trying to cheat, look here and there, the system will raise red flags. And teachers are very scared of adopting technology. But what we have seen is, if I talk about online education, that isn't as effective. If I talk about just on-campus education, that is clearly failing us. But what we see is, if I merge these two together, the learning outcomes become substantial. It increases student performance by at least 10%. These are some of the learners who are able to change their lives. What we have seen is, through this blended learning and online learning technology, 43% of the learners around the world are able to enhance their life. They are able to do career advancement. And we have been talking about free content access. Education is all about giving. Education is all about sharing. So we need to talk about the open source learning. All the technologies that I just described have to be shared with the world. And at edX, this is exactly what we have done. All the technology has been given out on Open edX platform. So you can create your own portal. One such example through which we are changing the world is, in Jordan, there were long history of gender bias. Women were not allowed to go to colleges and study and earn their degrees. They were not allowed to drive. And hence their government decided to use this open platform. They asked all their universities to come online, create their content, and offer their degrees online. So if a student cannot come to a university, the university is now going to the students. And this is the power of open source. And this is what we require for the next 1 billion. In future, we look forward to an equal world wherein we don't really have to restrict anyone to get access to quality education on the basis of their socio-economic status. As long as they have the will, they have the right to get high quality education. Thank you all for having me.